Welcome to the Founder Talk Show. Today we have Akshat with us, who's the founder of Pennywise. So, Akshat, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Arushi. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I would like to share a small story here. When I was in class 9, the first gold pendant that I bought for myself was from the money that I collected for over a year in my piggy bank. And slowly that culture is somewhere fading away of saving those coins, because people have lost the value of those coins. And just imagine, I could collect 3,000 rupees, 3,000 odd rupees in my piggy bank. Of course, the value of gold was also much lesser at that time. But then, and it was a sense of achievement for me. And now, a while back, I was thinking I would do the same with my daughter as well. I would teaches you a lot about saving, and that's when I stumbled upon Pennywise, where I learned that you could also save your spare change when you e-spend. So that's an interesting concept. Would you like to talk more on it, Akshat?
Sure, definitely, Arushi. Thank you so much. I think that was a very, very nice example, and I could relate a lot to it. I think I still have a piggy bank down there behind my bed, which sometimes when I spend cash and I get some change, I still deposit it there. So it's been a very traditional practice. People have been following it since ages, and we all have that emotional connect to the piggy bank thing. Coming to Pennywise, I think the last 1 year, it all happened very quickly. I think what we identified, or the journey was, I was 26 years old. I had no savings at all. I was working for a company. I was there in the US. Somehow I got some extra money, and then I was thinking, how do I start saving? How do I start investing? And that's when I was so confused, because to be honest, the way we've grown up, we've not really had that formal financial education in our schools and colleges, right? There's no subject called financial education. And so that's why, I had to look into a lot of YouTube videos, find a lot of matter, speak to a few of my friends. And at that time, I remember there was a friend of mine, who's now the co-founder of Pennywise, Gautam, who is a certified financial planner, and he would just talk to me, just keep telling me, Akshat, save karo, you need to save something, you need to start investing, howsoever it is. And I think those were a few of the pieces that were there in the back of my mind, but I never realized the importance of it, right? So when all of this came, when I was at a particular stage when I had no savings at all, I was earning for the last 4 or 5 years, but I just didn't realize the importance of investing. And that's when I stumbled upon this analysis. It's a very common analysis in the form of the power of compounding, right? So compound interest is something that we all learn when we are in class 7, class 8, but it's something that we've never realized the implication or the importance of it, or how big could it be. And that's when I stumbled upon this particular analysis, which says that if you start at 18 versus, you start at maybe 26 or 30, and let's say you start at 18 and you just save or invest your money for about 8 years. So 18 to 26, you're just investing it for 8 years, and the remaining rest of your life, you're just enjoying, you aren't saving anything. And there's another person who starts at 26 and he saves all the way, he invests all the way till the age of 60. The comparison at the end of 60 years, which is the retirement age, or which is the age when most of us stop working, it was almost that, if I think that analysis had a percentage, a rate of interest of 15%, which I understand is a little higher, but I think the ratio that came out, that a person who starts at 18 could invest, or could accumulate almost 3x the amount that a person who starts at 26. And I think if you look at those numbers, they're just mind-boggling. That was the turning point for me. That made me realize that this is supposedly the thing that I want to do for the rest of my life. This is the subject I want to pick up, and that's when we started thinking about how do we start inculcating this habit in people. So yes, I think that was the point about the realization of this particular industry. And that's when we started talking to people. How do we start? When do we start? And similar to my story, right? 18 years, it's good. Theoretically, everyone says start at 18. But 18 years, do we even have the money? We don't, right? We're at college. We're just getting a handful amount of pocket money from our parents. And we're just trying to manage all our expenses there. And that's when I think I questioned myself. I didn't have 500. I didn't have 1,000. But maybe I had those 10 rupees or I had this 100 rupees, which maybe if I knew could have resulted into a bigger amount later, I would have tried investing or saving, right? And that's when the idea of Pennywise was born, that nowadays we aren't doing cash transactions. We are all into digital transactions. So why not take this same age-old concept of good luck online, make it a digital piggy bank, and not just stop it there. It's just the way people start. They start by collecting their spare change, saving and investing them, and then as they go forward to the journey, they keep growing, 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 and growing.
So, Akshat, you also take it a notch higher by, investing it for the users. What all instruments do you invest the spare change in?
Right. So as of now, what we've done, Arishi, is we've finalized on two sorts of financial avenues. And also what we've done is what we plan to do is we plan to give various options to the end user, right? So two of those right now, which we've thought best suit the needs, is one, mutual funds. Reason because mutual funds is an instrument in a way that, so mutual funds is a way that it's been made for everyone based on the requirements. Somebody wants to save for short term, it's there; long term, it's there. So on and so forth. And the second thing is digital gold or digital silver. Just like you said, you bought your gold pendant, and gold was about 3,000 rupees at that time. It's 50,000 rupees today. So it keeps growing, right? And digital gold is a way where you don't have to pay this excessive making charges to the jeweler. Since you don't want to wear that jewelry, you can just buy gold and just keep it in a digital locker. So these are the two avenues that we've kind of finalized on, and we're still working on integrating on those. But yes, we do plan to increase more and more avenues as we go on.
So Akshat, do you automatically, so I want to understand as your potential user, do you automatically connect to all the e-commerce platforms that the user is on and, just save the spare change for them? So if I suppose hire a taxi maybe, or get food from, order something from Big Basket, or order something from Swiggy, Zomato. So do you connect with all such platforms?
Right. So what we've done is it's a little different on the approach side, right? So you may spend it anywhere. What we really care about it needs to be an e-spend. So whether you've used a UPI, a mobile wallet, your credit card, debit card, or your net banking, you always get an SMS to every spend, right? So what we've done is we'll try to take permissions from the user on reading those particular financial transaction messages, not his entire message history, just those financial transaction messages. And by reading those messages, we'll prepare the system in a way that the app detects those messages, reads through those messages, and then does the remaining amount. So let's say you just spent, for example, 472 rupees. Okay. So what the app will do is it will detect those 472 rupees based on the user's choice, whether he wants to round it off to the nearest 10, 50, or 100. These are the three options that the app will have. So let's say now in this case, the user has decided to transfer it, to the nearest 100. So 500 minus 472, which is 28. We collect that 28, we calculate that 28, and let's say there are multiple transactions in a day. So at the end of the day, whatever the total calculation would be, we'll transfer that amount directly from user's bank account to the financial instrument he's chosen. The money doesn't stay with us. It doesn't come to Pennywise account ever. So it's going to directly go from user's account directly to the bank or the AMC's account, and vice versa.
What if I do not want to invest the spare change anywhere? I just want to collect it maybe. So how do you do that?
Right. So what we've done is we've broken this down into two parts: saving and investing. Right. So for saving, we're bringing up few liquid mutual funds which give you a little higher return than um, the traditional savings bank account. But at the same time, they're very safe, right? So that's the first part where all of the change would come and get accumulated. If a person just wants to do that, he's more than welcome to do that. And then if he wants to start investing, he can take that collected amount from the liquid fund and then move it on to the other mutual funds or digital gold, as I said.
Great. So Akshat, you also, since you said you also would have access to a person's messages on transaction, did you have to take certain permissions from somewhere? How challenging was that?
Yes, it is actually, and I would say we're still in the process of doing that. And to be honest, the first thing what we even wanted to do before taking those permissions was talk to the users, right? So we interviewed and surveyed about I think close to 560 people, and we talked to them. We spoke to them. Are you going to be comfortable sharing your SMSs with us? And do you feel would you be feeling scared if we read your SMSs? And I think there were mixed responses, to be honest. They really wanted to be sure we aren't reading their personal SMSs and all those things. And once we got that input, we checked on the technology part. So Google today has a lot of checks in place, and we as a service provider have to adhere to the policies that Google has brought up, because we want to list our Google or Apple, because we want to list our app on both the stores. And so what they do is they particularly have checks in place to see whether the app is reading all the SMSs or whether the app is reading just the financial transaction messages, right? So once we code the entire thing, we've got to submit it to Google for a review. They take about 7 to 10 days to review our entire code and make sure that we aren't doing anything wrong or anything which isn't in the interest of the user.
Akshat, so is there an age restriction on who all can use your app?
Yes. So you need to have a PAN card to do that. Because, as you know, the SEBI and the RBI norms say that every investor who invests in the securities in India, they have to have a PAN card and they have to go through the KYC process, the Know Your Customer process. So to do that, PAN card is mandatory. And to get a PAN card, you need to be minimum 18 years of age. So, yeah, that will be.
Great. And if children are using it, can they use parents' PAN card?
So the main authority in that case would be the parent. So all the transactions would happen in the name of the parent. But yes, I think what we're planning to do in the future is, even to give those parents an option and for them to realize what they're doing is for their children. We will have some interactive things inside the app, which will give them this feeling that, all of this pair change is actually being saved and accumulated for their children. So that would be on the app. On the back end, with respect to the markets and the legal restrictions, everything it's going to be on the name of the parent.
So I'm sure, Akshat, a lot of people out there cannot wait to use Pennywise. So what stage is Pennywise at, and when can users use the benefits of Pennywise?
Sure. So we are just, I'll be honest, the team, so we have, I spoke about Gautam, who was our, the co-founder on the certified financial planner part. He's a CFP and he takes care of the finances. I have another co-founder whose name is Siddharth. He takes care of the technical front. And trust me, he and his team, they're working days and nights to just make this happen live for us. So right now, we're at 2 stages. The final product is in development. It should be out very soon. On the other hand, we're also working on a few of the licenses that we need from SEBI and AMFI, Association of Mutual Fund of India, right? And just because of COVID, it's taking a little time because, the government offices are really burdened with work. They're taking, although they're working a lot, but, it's just taking a little more time. So these are the 2 things that we are waiting for. It should be out, maybe in the next couple of months, I would say right now. But we're trying to make it happen as soon as possible. But having said that, you can still download the app from the Play Store. It's there on the Play Store. You can register on the wait list. So, as soon as the app launches, you get an information and you can start using it. So we have a wait list there, or I don't like to call it a wait list. I generally call it an early users list.
Okay, great. Any message that you would have for the other entrepreneurs? How challenging has it been for you to work during the pandemic?
Uh, it's been fun, So I think I would really want to share something here is the only thing which would always hold me back from starting is myself. I would just think there would be questions in my mind: should I go ahead? Should I not? Should I go ahead? Should I not? And this time I took the gut feeling. I just went with it, and once you go with it, things just happen to you, right? So I'll take a filmy dialogue here. Shah Rukh Khan says in his Om Shanti Om movie, "वो कायनात इकट्ठी हो जाती है to take you through the dreams," and that actually happened for me. When we did our initial survey, at that time when we reached out to people, a lot of people just came back to us saying that, we really love the idea. We like what you're doing. Can we be a part of it? And in the beginning, I would just say, you surely can, but I honestly don't have any money to pay you because we're at a very nascent stage. We're bootstrapping, and the things are not very smooth. And I think we were so lucky that even despite of we not having any money, the passion was so much and the vision was so much that people just kept joining us. And I'll be very happy to share with you today that we're a team of 23 people. We have three co-founders, a part-time person who's helping us with the development, and then we have the remaining people as interns and campus ambassadors. And all of us are just enjoying every day. We have our tasks, we just chit chat, we have our late night sessions, and I think we just have a lot of fun every day.
Great, great to know that, Akshat. And so I'm sure, although you were an early stage entrepreneur, I'm sure over the past 2-3 years, you've learned some lessons which you can probably give out to other entrepreneurs who are starting and who are yet to start, that what not to do when you are founding an organization.
Sure. That's a very good question, Arushi. I think the first and foremost thing I would say is every one of us like our ideas, right? We love what comes to our mind, and we think this is it. This is the best thing that could ever happen. But I think what we all should do is go through the theoretical stages. They say the first stage is validation, right? So talk to as many people as you can and discuss your idea. There was a time when I was scared. I wouldn't tell this idea to anyone. What if somebody else takes it, or what if they start working on it? But that doesn't really happen in the real world. Everybody is so occupied with things they want to do in life. They'll just be more than happy to help you out with your idea. So don't worry about your idea. Don't be scared it'll get stolen or something. Just go out there, talk to as many people as you can. And another thing which I really want to mention is don't invest too much of your money or resources at the initial stage, right? Don't go for fancy advertisements or big banners or even spending on social media ads or something like that, right? Just go slow, grow organically. There is a concept of minimum viable product, right, which is there everywhere. So, for example, I always relate this to the restaurant industry or the kirana store industry, and I always tell them that not everybody has to have a fully fledged restaurant in the beginning, right? They can just start with two dishes. See whether the people really like those two dishes, and then go on to the next level. And I think that perfectly fits for us as well, or for that matter, for any other entrepreneur, right? So figure out what that minimum viable product is. Try to limit your resources. Set up a budget. For example, let's say just set up. I have 20,000 rupees, and that's all I can spend in the beginning for till the time my minimum viable product is out in the market. And just keep those foundations, be in there, and just strictly focus into that. Those are the two things which help me a lot.
Yeah, I agree with you there, especially on the point where you said you need to discuss your idea and share it with as many people as you can. Sometimes you're scared that what if the other person not only steals your idea, but also tells you, no, this is not going to work for you. So that's the another thing that you're scared of. And you don't want to hear that. But that's the part that you want to hear the most, because you want to know the critical analysis of it all. So yeah, that's really inspiring, Akshat. And
I think just to that, just wanted to add a thing to that point. Keep writing down everything, right? So I made a full diary of notes to whenever I would interact with somebody, and even if the responses are not very good, I would just keep writing down everything. So I think that's something which has really helped me a lot. I can go back to my notes, see what they said, why they said, somebody who did not like the idea, what were the reasons why he didn't like the idea, and what can we do to make him like the idea, right?
So yeah, Akshat, we wish you all the very best in your venture. But yeah, I would like you to tell us what would you like to watch on a startup channel?
Sure. So I think this is a little theoretical, but this is something that I've gained insight into as I've grown as an entrepreneur. I've spoken to a lot of entrepreneurs and people who've worked in the industry since a long time, and I think what I would want to kind of suggest is today we kind of are in a time wherein a startup's success is denoted by the funding it picks up, right? Has the startup been funded? Have people shown their interest, or have investors given them thousands or lakhs and crores of rupees? But that's not the right way to approach a particular thing, right? So one should, I think what I would like to, or I would want to see more is the struggling stories of how entrepreneurs have, from the minimum cash available, just gone on to launch their product, take feedback from the customers, and then grown on their own organically, and not by just getting some external funding and all those kind of things. Those kind of inspiring stories are something which which help all of us.
Yeah, thank you so much. And a message for My Startup TV. What are your thoughts on us?
Oh, I went through all the various videos that you had. One of my favorite were the electric car video from Hyderabad, right? So I think two entrepreneurs playing it very basic, just converting the existing cars into electric vehicles, and a very simple idea, and a great way to get into those things. So I think it's very inspiring for me to watch all of those kind of stories. I love the way you guys are building this up, and I really hope this becomes a one-stop solution, or one-stop place where people can just come and read and view about startups in India.
Thank you so much, Akshat. And yeah, there's a question that I missed. Maybe we'll add it in between after editing. Is your app a paid thing for the user?
So what we've done is we will have a free trial period kind of a thing. So we have two ways of going about it, and we're yet to kind of finalize on how are we going to monetize it. So either it's going to be a small upfront fee in the beginning of the registration, after the trial period, or what we'll do is we'll just charge a small portion as a commission of the total amounts invested through our app. But having said that, it's going to be as small as, or what we're trying to achieve is the person says, "Yaar, ye free nahi hai, but ye almost free jaisa hi hai." Right? Yes. So it's going to be in that ratio. It's going to be really, really negligible, because we really want to encourage people to start investing early in life.
Thank you, Akshat. It was great talking to you. We wish you all the best in your venture, and hope we can get, keep in touch, and, maybe later on collaborate on reviewing your app.
For sure.
So yeah, as I told you the other day, we can do that as well for you. So I hope, by September, as you said, by September, you're going to launch it, right?
I would still say a couple of months, because, we're still having, we don't have a timelines on the licenses and those things.
Yeah.
So, okay. For us, it's going to be as early as possible. If it's August, maybe August. But yeah, a couple of months is the right way to put it right now.
Is it waiting because of the licenses that you have to get, or licensing or permissions you have to get?
Yeah, so it's both. We are working on it as well. The product, I wouldn't say that the product is completely ready and you're just waiting for the licenses. But yeah, both the things. It's going in parallel. The product is in development, as well as the licenses as something that we're waiting for.
Okay.
So
thank you. Yeah.
I'm sorry. a little of this thing. So what I was saying is there's another thing that we're doing to spread financial education. Can I talk about it, and maybe you can
Yes.
put somewhere in between? Okay. So
Yeah,
what?
good.
Cool. So as part of Pennywise, right? So one product is the app that we are taking out. Another major vision or the goal of our company is to spread financial literacy in India, right? And what we've done is we've got today, since we're all at home because of COVID, we're working from homes. The webinars are working, right? So what we've done it is we've come with a 4-part live conference wherein we just talk about the basics of personal finance, right? Uh, we've divided this into 4 parts. The first part is talks just about why is it important to save? Why should you save? Why should you invest? What is the reason of it? And the basics of inflation, compounding, assets, liabilities, and all those kind of things. So that's what we've planned for the first part. The second part talks about what are the various options one has today for investing. So apart from just the mutual funds or just the digital gold, we have various saving schemes from the government. We have government bonds, we have treasury bonds, we have bonds from RBI, then we have PPF schemes, and so on and so forth. We have a list of available financial avenues, and a lot of us don't know that. We just think that we need to save or invest money to buy a home so that we can, just talk on social media about it. But we really need to know what are the various options that one has today to diversify their money into. And that's all what we talk about in the second conference. The third conference takes a deep dive into mutual fund because mutual funds are the latest in trend. A lot of buzz whether people should go for it or not go for it, and it always comes with a warning that it's subject to market risk. So we go a deep dive there, and the last part talks about your retirement planning, your insurances you need, the loans you need, the credit card, debit card, and all those things. Right. So this is a 4-part conference. All we want to do is educate you because what we feel is generally the way this industry has grown is, we just get some advice from an agent or a friend or a distant relative, but we don't get those core understanding or, that understanding to take informed decisions. And that's what we want to do as part of this conference, just spread financial education.
So yeah, Akshat, that's wonderful to know. In fact, let me share with you that you can host that training program on our channel as well.